Right. Um, just a little video I find very interesting talking about a subject I want to get into. Um, it goes into basically the old world stories, which is called mythology, and how it could be very relevant as when you study world history, you see a lot of things. Now, today we're going to be talking about the Hindu culture. In the picture you have Vishnu. You've got hand signs, which is a 666, which comes up in yoga, which is also mentioned in other historical textbooks as the mark of the beast, especially in biblical ones. In Vishnu's story, Vishnu was a Nephilim hybrid god, and in the story, the Ramayana, there was a great war, which also has biblical references to the Great Flood with Hanuman. In the other story is Shiva, which is son of Vishnu, sitting with a free and what looks like a man hieroglyphic in one hand, but that's it. And he's sitting by a calf, which symbolizes mankind, a white calf with a pink horn. In today's day and age, there's a lot going on. The 9 snakes around Vishnu's head, where he's sitting with his wife, that could be representative of a lot of things. He's got a picture of him sitting above the celestial waters on the plate of the earth, which is a symbol that is symbolic of reaching beyond the heavens, which is biblically also what Nimrod tried to do. There's a lot of old world history that is not currently academically known because of a lot of mixing up and rewritten books, but that circulates back to when the world was one landmass before a great flood, when there were supposedly giants or Nephilim. Zogbia and Bactria were also places that were called India way back, and that goes back to Og of Bashan. The Chinese were supposedly fighting giants, built the Great Wall to keep out a giant named Og, who also was biblically referenced. A lot of these things have, like I said, symbolic meaning. When you look at today's world with whatever's going on and everything that's going on, it's just good to know your history and to be calm, It says that superpowers, there will be rumors of wars and wars. There's a lot of wars going on right now, but everyone's watching the main culprits, while India's growing very, 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 very quickly. As you know, their history goes very, very far back, and they themselves will tell you that their history goes very far back. And it deals with the serpent. They have basically an affinity with snakes, as seen with the picture of Vishnu. The 9 represents, historically, when you go back, it has a lot of relevance to biblical numbers, which is a number of God as well. So that I find very interesting. The fact that they're trying to grow and turn into a superpower, secretly warring with other nations and setting up allies, and they're all over the world, is very relevant as well. Everything is in these times. It's just good to be aware of everything that's going on and know your history, 100%. And it's funny how root words that stem from old world words, mudra, is very similar, very akin to the word murder. Now, as well, it's said that mentally, physically, and spiritually, you're meant to free yourself, free your mind, which is a good thing to meditate, but it's also a good thing to stay grounded and down to earth with meditation. A lot of that stems to a out-of-body death type experience, which is not a good experience to me personally. When you look through history, I do practice a lot of deep reflection, which can be seen as meditation, but it's deep reflection, self-based. Like I said, it's just good to know your history, your indigenous history, because, there's a lot going on worldwide, and it's just good when you can just feel relaxed because you know what you know and you know your history. Like I said, I'm a person who's studied history and studied a lot of things. Despite what I'm going through, I have no bias against any other race, and I hope any other race doesn't have a bias against me. I just honestly speak. When you study history, you studied a lot of books, a lot of texts, going back throughout time, some that are available right now, some that ain't available right now. It's different, but that is something that's very relevant to me. The hand signs, the 666, because a lot of the occult of today that throw up the supposedly occultic 666 sign, which is seen as the OK sign and all of that, that stems from the 666 sign, which stems from Hindu belief. That's its root stem. And that stems from people that were serving demigods. As seen in the picture, Vishnu, he was a demigod. His wife in the Ramayana was mainly of human descent. They had gods like Ganesh, elephant heads and all of that. And that whole story, the epic of Ramayana, was actually supposedly one of the oldest world stories that was based after the flood, after the great bottleneck, supposedly, that separated the world from one landmass into what we have today if you're studying that far back. And there's a lot of land monuments that bear testament to this. There was a bridge built that can still be viewed from very high up. That bridge is a landmass under the water, made of stones by apparently hybrid monkey humans. And there was a lot of stuff which the Bible would reference as Nephilim, but this was all long ago. But when you go back and you look through, you see that there's a very massive correlation. There's a very, very massive correlation. And it's just something that's interesting to know. Very interesting to know. And to be wise to. Thank you